Hey everyone, what's going on? I hope everyone enjoyed the bye week. I definitely did. I went to Las Vegas and I kind of lost my voice a little bit. Hopefully I sound okay, but bear with me if I don't or if it cracks embarrassingly throughout the course of this video. Anyway, before the bye week, the Bills dropped a game on the road to the Bengals, and initially my thoughts on that, obviously I'll give you some of them, but like the main things that I want to take away, the main points regarding like fans and fan reactions, I guess, or like not necessarily with the team itself, because I listen to John Murphy show, whatever, all the shows on WGR and Twitter, obviously, and people are like, I even heard one guy guarantee that the Bills would be 5-0 if Peterman was the starting quarterback. And I need to just stop. We need to just stop that conversation. Like, the Bills were 3-1 going into the game, and pretty much Tyrod had everyone's support. And then I would agree that he kind of lost that game for the Bills against the Bengals. And so we go to 3-2, and now we have to talk about changing the quarterback. Why? Why do we have to talk about changing the quarterback? Why do we have to do this after every single loss? Why is this a thing? Do you want to win? Like, you want to win, right? So you think Peterman will give you a better shot, but Tyrod has won more games than he's lost in Bills uniform, and they're 3-2 for the fourth consecutive year. I'm pretty sure that's correct. The fourth consecutive year, third under Tyrod. The Bills are 3-2, and I know the previous two haven't gone as planned, but like, you just can't have this conversation every single week. It's tiring to me. I'm sure it's tiring to some people, but like, why do you do that to yourself? Like, who in the right mind is like, well, we're 3-2. We should probably change the quarterback. We should probably play this rookie because we're like half a game out of first place in the division. It's wide open. The AFC is, not that good. The Chiefs are 5-1. They're the best team. Everybody else has at least 2 losses. We're one of those teams that has 2 losses. So we should probably change our quarterback. Get out of here with that nonsense. Like, just watch the games. You can have your opinion. That's fine. If you want to change your quarterback, that's fine. Just know they're not going to at this point. It makes absolutely no sense. Let it go. And you go back to like, people are like, well, Cincinnati, like, you beat Atlanta, like, and you lose to Cincinnati on the road? What happened when you win in Atlanta? It happens. This is football. You're not going to win every game. Newsflash, the Bills aren't going 14-2. They're going to lose again. And you shouldn't have this conversation after the fact. Like, don't change the quarterback. It wasn't a must-win game against Cincinnati. Don't tell me it was. It would have helped, but it wasn't a must-win. The season's not over because they lost. A must-win game is when you're eliminated from the playoffs. Or because something happened, because you lost, you now can't do something, like make the playoffs. Or you're in the playoffs and you lose. Playoff games are must-win games. Week 17, where you're winning, you're in. That's a must-win game. For the Jets, 2 years ago, that was a must-win game. Because the Steelers were, technically it wasn't even that. Because the Steelers were playing the Browns, they figured it was a must-win game. But you get my point. You didn't, like, I just can't, I'm sick of this conversation. Like, I know the quarterback has been a problem for the team for years and years and years, but Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback now. So just hope they win now. I'm with you this week. I think the Bills need to beat the Buccaneers this week. I think they need to. I think it's a bad loss if they lose. If they lose, it's a bad loss. If they win, it's not a great win. It could be classified as a good win, but not a great win, because it looks like they're going to get the backup quarterback. But like, and we'll talk about that too. Don't worry. It's just, it's not a must-win. It's not. It's an NFC game. Doesn't count for any tiebreakers except overall record. Granted, super important. I agree. But it's not a must-win. They don't have to bury the season if they lose, but they should win. I agree that they should win. Anyway, I picked them to win 2 weeks ago against the Bengals. And my bad. Bought it, whatever. I did it again. I still don't think they're a bad team. Defense was good. They forced 3 turnovers. They allowed 20 points. Tyrod had so many chances to put the Bills back in that game. And whether it was penalties or sacks or whatnot, it just kept falling back. Every time you think they're taking a step forward, they take 2 steps back. The McCoy 44-yard run, they don't. It gets called back by penalty. The Brandon Tate punt return plus the penalty, right? They start at the 12-yard line, kick field goal. Unacceptable to me. I agree, unacceptable. I think Tyrod pretty much cost them the game. I would be of that. I would listen to that argument, I guess, because he gets the ball again in the situation, down to score, needing to score a touchdown. Last drive, he's done it 100 times. It feels like 100 times. It's probably more like 8 or 9, and gets sacked, throws a pick promptly in like 3 plays. 2 out of 3 plays, there's a sack and a pick, and the game is over. So, I was more frustrated last Sunday or whatever before that against the Bengals than I was against the Panthers, and I was even at that game because the Bills just against the Panthers just didn't seem in it. I can't even say they had so many chances because they barely crossed midfield, like 2 times. They had basically had 1 chance to take that game away, and it almost happened. And Tyrod almost did it. He kind of did do it. Whatever. We don't need to open up that can of worms again. Against the Bengals, just chance after chance after chance. And it didn't happen. At least that's the way it felt. I don't know how you guys felt about it. It just seemed like, did he cost them? Yeah, I agree. He didn't run a lot, and that to me is unacceptable. He didn't really. I mean, granted, credit the Bengals, I guess, for keeping him inside the pocket, and sacking him and not letting him be outside. He did have he had a 10-yard run for a first down called by a penalty. Shocker. But like 1 carry for 3 yards for Tyrod, I guess, designed some stuff for him. Maybe they didn't because it was raining and whatnot, but like that sort of makes him more of a threat in the passing game is his ability to run, ability to escape the pocket. So I would have liked to see that, obviously, a lot more. I know that Jordan Matthews was out. Charles Clay got hurt. That sucks. And you're like, well, look at who he's throwing to. I'm sick of the look who he's throwing to argument, too. Like, I don't care. You employ professional players to catch the ball. Like, if they're not good at catching the ball and getting open and whatnot, at playing receiver, why are you employing them as as wide receivers? What's the point of them being on the team? And I don't want to hear it anyway because the Bengals' top 2 quarterbacks went out. Pac-Man and Drake Kirkpatrick. They were out too. So their opportunities were there. Bills should have won that game. They should have won that game, but it wasn't a must-win. They didn't. It's football, like I said. They're going to lose games. You're not going to beat everybody. No, here we go. Nobody's beat everybody they've played so far. Nobody in the league. Chiefs probably thought they should have beat Pittsburgh at home last week. They didn't. Think they want to change? Do you think they want Patrick Mahomes in because they're 5-1? Do you think they'd want Patrick Mahomes in if they were 4-2? Probably not. I don't know. Of course, there's going to be some cynical fans always, but whatever. Anyway, I think any drawing or scenario of the Bills making the playoffs started with 3-2 at the bye. You had to have that, and I think they got a really good shot at getting to at least 5-3, with Tampa, Oakland, and the Jets coming up. Like, could be 6-2, but it's football. Things happen. So I think they got a good shot at being 5-3 halfway through the season. And then you just got to basically duplicate that. See what happens. This week it's the Bucs. The Bucs throttled last week by Arizona, then come back and have a shot and still lose. And they lose their quarterback in the process. Winston hurt his throwing shoulder, AC joint sprain. Threw 1 pass in practice on Thursday. Doesn't look like a guy who's going to play on Friday. A bunch of the beat writers are saying, like, I don't know how he would play or why he would play. So it looks like we might get, oh my God, Ryan Fitzpatrick as the quarterback on Sunday, which is hilarious, insane, ironic, coincidence, both of the same. I don't know. I'll use any word you want to use to describe it. And of course, you remember last year Fitzpatrick coming in here and just throwing 374 yards and 1 touchdown, and the quarterbacks were just getting beat. He was just throwing up haymakers to just lobs for Marshall and Decker and Quincy and Nunwa, and they were just catching it over Gilmore and Darby. Sucked, but it happened. Um, I like, it's amazing how this guy finds his way into the lineup every year. Did you know he went to Harvard, by the way? He did. Sometimes he used to wear his wedding ring when he played. I don't know if he still does. Anyway, I think that the Bills have a better chance beating Ryan Fitzpatrick than they do Jameis Winston. Maybe not an unhealthy Jameis Winston, but I think they got a better chance. The Bucs are 2-3. They have beaten the Bears, and the Bears with the Mike Glennon Bears and the New York Giants at home. On the road, they've lost to the Vikings and Arizona, and they've got beat up pretty good in those games. They've thrown for 300 yards in 4 straight games. They can't run the ball really at all. They have only 2 games of over 100 rushing yards as a team. They are 30th when it comes to rushing the ball and 32nd when it comes to rushing attempts. So the Bills are pretty good against the run, and I think that I know that the Bucs are pretty bad against the pass. They're 31st overall in yards, and Carson Palmer looked like he was 25 years old throwing against them. I know that Tom Brady didn't look that good, but that was a home game for Tampa on 3 days rest, so I think that's a little bit different. I believe Tom Brady still threw for almost 300 yards, right around 300 yards. Eli Manning threw for right around 300 yards against them. Was it Bradford or Keenum? It might have been Keenum in week 2. I apologize for not knowing. And they threw for 369 yards. They had 369 yards passing. Mike Glennon threw for almost 300 yards. Like, it's there. This is like Tyrod should look good in this game. He should. LaShawn McCoy should look good in this game. This, like I said earlier, this is a game I think the Bills should win. And then here I am using the word should a lot. They should look good through the air. They should look good on the ground. They should look good on defense. The NFC South opponents they've played so far, they've beaten. Atlanta, they haven't beaten, sorry. Atlanta and Carolina, they could have beaten. But they were really good defensively against those teams. And I think they'll be really good defensively against the Bucs. This is like the McDermott carryover. He's seen these teams before. He's seen Jameis Winston. I don't know if he's seen Ryan Fitzpatrick, but watch the tape. We know Ryan Fitzpatrick. Kyle Williams knows Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, a couple of these guys know him. He can't really throw to the sidelines. He takes a lot of chances. He throws a lot of interceptions. He makes some pretty bad decisions. They don't have a great running game behind him. He does have Mike Evans, who is capable of catching jump balls. Don't get me wrong. That could happen again. Deshaun Jackson, capable of running down the sideline and getting past somebody. That is something the Bills obviously have to watch out for, especially they got beat. Trey White got beat by A.J. Green. Everybody got beat by A.J. Green against the Bengals. Even though he was responsible for like 3 turnovers, he was responsible for almost 200 yards receiving and some points. So that could be a thing, but like I said, the Bucs are just not good on defense, despite their second-ranked passing attack. I think a lot of that is due to what happened in Arizona. Arizona playing prevent and whatnot. They didn't look good against the Patriots. They didn't look great, I guess, against the Giants. I know they had 434 yards. Actually, you know what? Sure, I'll give them the Giants game. 434 yards, no turnovers, 111 yards rushing they even threw in there. But that was a game that they could have lost as well. And I just think this is a game for the Bills. I'm gonna pick the Bills to win. They're favored in Vegas. I checked it out, even though it was off the board for a while, but I believe it's back on. They're favored by like 3 or 3.5, I think. So I'm gonna pick the Bills to win. I think they should beat the Bucs. I'm gonna pick them to win. Let's see, what's a good score? Hauschka is still the man, so let's say like 26. 26, games are typically pretty close. 26-17. I think Bills at 9. Wow. I was picking to win by 9. 26-17 Bills. Let me know what you think, how you're thinking. If you want Peterman to play, sure, give me that argument. Let's talk about it. Hit me up on Twitter, guys. My Twitter handle is the same as my YouTube username. Like, let's go. The Bills, this is a good chance to get to 4-2. It's going to be nice on Sunday. Let's go. Right? Anyway, enjoy your weekend, guys. And above all else, as always, go Bills.